February is Heart Health Month, and one of the best ways to reduce the risk of heart disease is through proper nutrition. Making healthy eating choices is not only important to keep your blood cholesterol levels and blood pressure healthy, it influences your ability to manage a healthy weight and protect against diabetes. Andrea Holwagner is a registered dietitian, and she joins us this morning with more. Andrea, good morning. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. This is of course, I'm wearing red because so much of heart health is color when we talk about nutrition.
Oh, well, this makes it even easier then. We touched on this a bit, but what role does diet play in your heart health?
A lot of what you hear nowadays is talking about inflammation. So we know that nutrition has a role in the gut microbiome and in the whole inflammatory process of the body. And so when we think about high cholesterol, heart disease damage, stroke reduction, blood pressure concerns, it all starts with what are we putting into our body and how do we help protect all of that tissue from damage. And so nutrition is going to be all about thinking lots of colorful foods. No surprise, dietitians talk about this all day.
And what diet is best for the heart? I mean, we get caught up in all of these fads and you think this one is good for that. What is the ideal diet to make sure your heart is as healthy as it can be?
Hey, you bet. I'm going to talk about 3 diets. And by the way, the word diet means a way of life in Latin. And so I want you to think about it as a lifestyle versus some sort of restrictive eating regime that is taking out all the joy and the fun. So I want to move over to my second camera view so I can show you what a heart healthy diet actually looks like. And so when we think about heart health, there's a couple of things that we want to think about. So first of all, of course, we got huge color here. So lots of fruits and veggies, no surprise at all. We want to load up at least half of our plate at our major meals with fruits and veggies. And the more color, the better. The second sort of piece in a heart healthy diet is really looking at your beans, lentils, chickpeas, whether you're throwing them in a crock pot or an Instapot, or you're throwing them, canned into a quesadilla or a salad. Really, really fantastic for soluble fibers and excellent sources of plant-based protein that is good for our heart. The other thing we want to think about is, of course, whole grains. You don't need to restrict grains. It's really about understanding portion sizes and, of course, really thinking about what are the whole grains that we can incorporate that, again, have more of that fiber. The other thing we want to think about with heart healthy eating is healthy fats. And so you can see I've got some nuts here, seeds, and of course we all know oils are going to be important and good for our heart health, whether it's olive oil, your avocado oils, and of course avocado, fantastic from a heart health perspective. The other thing we think about with heart healthy eating is fish fats. So this is a steelhead trout that I've got here. Of course, salmon's always famous, but putting some fish on your plate. And if you're not a big fan of fish, you might consider something like a ground flaxseed into your oatmeal or yogurts and those types of things.
Andrea, I can't help but notice you don't have a lot of chocolate or fries, bacon, alcohol. None of that seems to be in your little display there.
Oh, hey, as the chocoholic dietitian, there is always room for chocolate on the plate. So when we think about all of those foods that we choose for taste and enjoyment, all of the things that you listed there. First of all, remember there is no bad foods. There's only bad overall entire diet. So there's still room for a BLT sandwich with bacon. And of course, we know from research an egg a day is okay when we talk about cardiovascular risk reduction. So always room for all of these other foods that maybe I didn't have on my heart healthy display here.
Okay, that's good news. Now, what other wellness factors are important for heart health? I have to imagine exercise, lots of water.
Yes, of course. And so we know from the research 3 diets, the Mediterranean diet, we know the DASH diet, which is dietary approaches to stop hypertension, and a third one called the MIND diet. And that kind of is a hybrid between those two DASH and Mediterranean-based diets. So we do see things like a little bit of wine in there. We do see recommendations for walking and not smoking. So all the sort of stuff you would expect from an overall healthy lifestyle perspective is in all of the long-term research on heart health.
Very good. And for folks who would like to learn more, you have it all laid out for us at healthstandnutrition.com. Andrea, thank you so much for your time today. We sure appreciate it.
You are very welcome.